our next beautiful speaker is Nathalie, and she's got a fan club out here. Amazing. She is a trauma-informed matrescence coach, the founder of the marriagewhisperer.com. Everybody just sat up a little straighter. We're going to listen now. And she's here to talk to us tonight about how marriage can thrive after motherhood. So would you please put your hands together for the beautiful Nat? There we go. You good?
Thank you, Nicole. All these faces in the crowd. There's this place I know where relationships are dreamy. Girl meets prince, bad guy gets locked away, everyone lives happily ever after. Maybe you've heard of it. It's Disney. Disney wasn't just this magical place for me. For me, it was real life. My father, who I lost 10 years ago, he was a talented artist who was an animator for Disney. True story. And so every weekend, we would hear that good old Akai stereo cranking the tunes of The Little Mermaid, The Lion King, Aladdin. Like it was like these Disney Coachella concerts, seeding to the little girl in me. One day, you too shall find your prince. And alas, he arrives, but not on a horse and carriage. He rocks up in his Ducati. And so we are riding and cruising dink life, double income, no kids, weekends away, incredible dinners, helicopter rides, Valentine's Day, that type of vibe, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, dreams really do come true. But here's the catch. What Disney didn't show us is what happens after the kiss. They end it with an Elton John sonnet, and it drops, and you're led to believe that you can feel the love tonight forever. I hear a few laughs in the crowd. I'm guessing there's some resonance. And so they didn't show us the messy, the beautiful, the challenging reality of what happens when the real interesting characters enter our stories, our babies. And so I'll never forget the moment that I knew there had to be another way. I'm at home with our 6-month-old. I've got my laptop open. I want to get this job off and done so I can contribute financially. She's been crying all day. I'm tapped out. He walks in the door. He sees laptop open, baby crying, and he loses it. Are you just going to stay on that fucking laptop? His words penetrate deep. And in that depth, I knew that I couldn't go on like this. I knew that this good girl, people pleaser, who was trying to make everyone happy, who was trying to do it all. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand, but feel free to give me a double blink if you know what I'm talking about. And Jen spoke about masks in her talk. The biggest mask of them all is this bold, big smile. Blink, blink. And so I knew from that moment, that was the catalyst into my journey. And then it followed on to help other women as a matrescence coach to share with them how marriage can really thrive after motherhood. And so I want to share with you all 3 key insights. And this is what I've discovered, learning, observing, witnessing with the many women that I've worked with over the last decade plus that there are ways. And so I want to share those insights with you. 3 things. Magnify femininity, manage resentment, master overwhelm. Let's break those things up. You know, the number one reason that marriages really struggle is that women are operating in hypermasculinity. And why is this such a dangerous and big problem? Because what happens is that we create competitors, not teammates. And what also happens is that we as women, we forget how to have play, pleasure, presence. And by not being in our feminine, we get irritable, we get exhausted, and we get burnt out. This is a very big problem. So women, we need to magnify our femininity. I'm going to share a hot hack on how you can do that. So, to access your feminine energy, you need to turn on your senses. See, smell, taste, touch, hear. When you turn on your senses, you are activating your sensuality. Senses, sensuality, feminine energy. Manage resentment. Who knows what I'm talking about when you're like backpacking and it's like heavy. Resentment is that feeling of frustration, anger, disappointment, perceived injustice. And when we have that heaviness, intimacy and closeness does not happen. So I want to share with you the roots of resentment so that you can manage it. 3 things that are at the core of resentment. Number 1, not asking for what it is that we need. Number 2, not holding and adhering to your own boundaries. And number 3, and this is the best one, unrealistic expectations. I'm going to speak to this last piece because this is the one that I see the most. In short, expectations ruin relationships. If there's anything you take away from this talk, take those 3 words. Expectations ruin relationships. And so what do we need to do instead? We need to eliminate expectations and we need to raise our personal standards. Let me give you a real quick example on how we can do that. Oh my gosh, 20 years we've been together and he's not, like, how can he not know this? Like, what the hell? Brother, like, how can you not know that? Right? We have this expectation that he should just know. Expectation. We need to scrap that expectation and raise our personal standard, which might sound something like this. My personal standard is I ask for what it is that I need with confidence, clarity, and conciseness. Mastering overwhelm. Let's face it, running a business, running a household, raising humans, like it's a lot. And it's stressful. And sexy time doesn't happen in stress. So we need to get onto this bad boy and manage this overwhelm. So how do we do that? We need clarity on what creates overwhelm. Let me give you a rundown and the anatomy of what creates overwhelm. Number 1, overwhelm is caused by a series of unmade decisions. So indecision creates overwhelm. You know what I'm talking about? Open tab, haven't decided. Whoa. Overwhelm. What is the antidote to indecision? Make faster decisions. Overconsumption is another piece that causes overwhelm. Yes, I'll take that on. Yes, no worries. Yes, okay, no problem. Of course, happy to do school pickup. Actually, no, I'm not. Overconsumption, saying yes to too many things. And our plate is overfilled. Overconsumption. What is the antidote to overconsumption? constraint. Constraint. Our necessity to say no. And at the nucleus of saying no, we must be okay with letting people down. This is the number one reason why women find it so hard to say no, because they don't want to upset people. So, indecision, overconsumption, and the last piece that causes overwhelm is incompetence. You simply just don't know how to do something. And so when we don't know how, we're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how, I haven't done this thing before, what the hell? Overwhelm. What is the antidote to incompetence? You ask for help. You ask for support. You ask for guidance. Find someone who has done what it is that you need to be doing. You put your pride aside and you ask for that help. So, in closing, when we really encapsulate these 3 pillars, magnify femininity, manage resentment, master overwhelm, you will absolutely be excited and delighted that marriage can thrive after motherhood. And it's very, very delicious. And so let us reimagine our happily ever afters, not as a Disney fairy tale, but a real, vibrant vision that we get to rearrange and retell. And in the words of Esther Perel, your love story: write well, edit often. Thank you.